Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Late night special here. You and I got involved in a heated discussion about some recent news, and we thought it was important that we talk about it with the community.
Yeah.
And I think it was important because I brought it up and you had no idea that it had been happening the last 48 hours.
I did not. And you're like, it's been all over the news. And I'm like, I guess I don't watch. I try not to watch the news. Actually, it's just depressing. So,
well, that is the truth. That is the truth.
What's going on? Tell me.
We're talking about tonight. We're talking about PayPal, and it's obviously all over the news right now because there was a lot of backlash for a policy that kind of slipped through the cracks, and PayPal backtracked, and there's a lot of people kind of in a frenzy right now. And I thought it was interesting because this is the first time really where some of the censorship stuff crosses over into the hobby world. Because, I mean, PayPal, I think the last stat I saw was like a third of all internet transactions run through PayPal. I would guess 50, 60, 70% of sports card transactions run through PayPal. Was that a fair statement? I don't know the facts, but
that every transaction I do with sports cards is through PayPal, whether it's on eBay or if I do a deal with a guy, a friend, or buy something from JT, I'm sending him PayPal.
Yeah. Same with me. I mean, especially pre-managed payments on eBay, it was basically 99% of transactions ran through PayPal. So I can imagine that it's pretty high. So let me just show you this I guess summary of some of the announcements that came out through a new terms and conditions policy that PayPal had put out yesterday. And you can see here the original announcement said that PayPal would expand its existing lists of prohibited activities on November 3rd. Among those changes were prohibiting the use of platform for sending, posting, or publication of any messages, content, or materials that promote misinformation or present a risk to user safety or well-being. Users were also barred under the policy from the promotion of hate, violence, racial, other forms of intolerance of this discriminatory activity. Got it. The policy said determinations of what could be deemed misinformation or a threat to the well-being of other users would be at the sole discretion of PayPal. That's a massive red flag for me. Yep. And the now aborted policy, which they did backtrack on that, and we'll talk about here in a second, said users could be liable for damages, including the removal of $2,500, which would be debited directly from your PayPal account per offense.
It's outrageous, egregious, preposterous. It's definitely preposterous.
I mean, you see why the entire world basically goes, whoa. Right, left, it doesn't matter. Everyone kind of thought, okay, this isn't right here. Something's going on. And within hours, PayPal, backtracked and pulled this back and said, this, in fact, was misinformation. Oops, sorry about that, which nobody believes. Let's be honest, nobody believes.
Right.
When you see something like this, kind of does it concern you? Do you just kind of say, whatever? Where does your mind go, Mike?
Well, I would not want $2,500 taken out of my account. I think most people would look at this and go, yeah, you shouldn't be promoting hate, violence, racial, or other forms of intolerance, and that is discriminatory. We all agree 100%. That's not good. You shouldn't be doing that. But we do live in America where we do have the freedom of speech. And I may not like what someone says. We even on YouTube, we get comments and we go, no, wait a second. That's not terribly fair or right or whatever. Yeah. They have the right to say it, and it may be misinformation that people say to us. And then for a company just to say, we're going to have sole discretion as to what you might be, providing as far as misinformation. That's
alarming.
That's alarming. and it comes into the hobby because we all use PayPal, and right. I mean, it's like, wait a second. I use PayPal. It's connected to my bank account. You know, I don't want them coming into my bank account and pulling money for something I might not even know that I did.
What?
They were stolen.
Stolen? When?
A couple of hours ago. The police are coming right over.
Stolen?
Someone left the door open.
Oh,
Yeah, you and I are in complete agreement, right? The stuff in green here, yeah, of course, this is stuff nobody should be doing. This is very vague, promote misinformation. We know how the vagueness of the misinformation term has become just blown out of proportion all over the Twitter world and everything else right now, right? Everybody thinks everything's misinformation at this point, which leads us down to this idea of this being the sole discretion of PayPal. And if they decide it is, and it's debited, it's not like it goes to a case.
Right.
It's immediately debited from your account per offense. Like it's real cash.
Where's the due process there to determine who, this arbitrary decision? Like, wait a second. And it's part of the EULA, right? So you can't use PayPal and not agree. I know they retracted, but when they did this, like, use PayPal, you have to agree to our terms. Here they are. Here's one of them, right? And unfortunately, I think in the hobby, because it's so prevalent in the hobby, what are some choices, Ty, that, I mean, honestly, I only know PayPal. I know what others are, Venmo and Zelle and whatnot. I'm just going to trade sports cards in Bitcoin from now on. That's all I'm going to do.
Well, you're going to get you were going to be able to get a lot of coins for a Bitcoin. Now you can only get a couple.
Right.
But I guess real quick, they've retracted the statement. They pull back and said it's misinformation, which is funny now because on Twitter, that if you mention something about this particular incident, it gets flagged as misinformation. It's like all these tech companies are working in conjunction to kind of like create the narrative. But regardless of that, right? Regardless of what side you're on, this doesn't even matter. We wanted to bring it up because this rolls into the hobby very clearly. And as a seller, as a buyer who you just said you sell through and you use PayPal a lot, you need to be aware of some of the things happening with the major transaction platform within the sports card hobby. And maybe you don't want to be in that position where they may decide, hey, you know what? Our terms and conditions are changing and you have a bunch of money in there for your sports cards. And you're a content creator and you say something that somebody doesn't like and they deem as misinformation, or you're one of the thousands of Twitter guys in the hobby and you say something or you retweet something and you get a $2,500 debit. Like, you need to be aware of that because it will filter through the hobby really fast.
So let's test this out. PayPal sucks. Let's see if they're going to flag my PayPal account just got debited $2,500. No, I mean,
that was me. I was actually logged in.
Oh, okay. That's where the money went. But a lot of you might scoff and say, well, it doesn't matter to me. They're not going to debit me. You say that until they do, right? And yeah, it's probably highly unlikely that any of us would be monetarily affected by this. But the fact that it even exists and that ability is out there is like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
Scary.
Very scary. So the natural response to that would be, okay, so now what? I want to take a stand. I want to protect myself. Maybe I want to boycott PayPal. Where do you gravitate towards in the hobby? I mean, what are the alternative platforms? I know there's the Venmo. You go to a show, you can Venmo now. There's Zelle. There's Cash. What alternatives come to mind for you, and people watching? What alternatives do you prefer for
payment
hobby transactions?
Yeah, I'm a cash guy. I like cash. And honestly, luckily, it might prompt people who have a large balance in their PayPal account to pull it out.
Yeah.
Like to go, you know what? I keep it there just because it's convenient and I don't want to be moving money back and forth between my bank account or whatever. Now they might just go, you know what? I'm just going to that XYZ dollar balance that I have in there, I'll just keep that, you know?
Yeah.
And you could see a lot of that, I would think, within the hobby if someone's concerned about this. I think there's gonna be a lot of people that just say, I don't care. And that's okay. You're allowed to feel that way. But when someone's livelihood or cash flow is threatened this way, you at least need to know about it, right?
Yeah.
You may not have a huge stance on it, and this really bothers me or whatever. Doesn't have to, but you just at least need to know, right? What do you
That's it.
gravitate towards in terms of alternate payment platforms?
I'm bringing back out the checkbook. I'm blowing the dust off. I'm writing checks again. No, I'll probably, for some of the stuff that we do, like through Chasing Cardboard, we'll probably look at more kind of clear invoicing systems through QuickBooks and things like that. Probably gravitate towards more Zelle. You can set up a Square. Venmo's easy. Venmo's very easy. It's about as cash oriented as you can get. So there are alternatives out there, but I'm exactly in that boat you just mentioned, where I have multiple accounts with substantial amounts of PayPal in them, PayPal balances. I'm thinking probably not a good thing to keep that just sitting there. Like, get it into a bank account or get it in cash. That was the first thing I gravitated towards when I saw that notice.
It did say debited from your PayPal account. So it doesn't say specifically that they would and my point of bringing that up is I don't have a PayPal balance. I just pay stuff. It's attached to my checking account, and literally I only buy cards with money I have in my checking account. Don't overspend on cards.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't say they can go charge if you have a credit card attached to your PayPal account. It doesn't say they'll necessarily charge your credit card. It says off your balance. It's very specific, right? Directly from your PayPal. Well, actually, maybe that's a little more vague than I'm thinking. I don't know. Does your PayPal account include all forms of payment? Whether it's a credit card, debit card, checking account that's linked to your PayPal account? I don't know. It doesn't say.
We could just leave that up since we keep clicking it.
Yeah.
You know what? The word that kind of just got overlooked from us too is this liable for damages. That's the mentality where you promoted misinformation, you damaged somebody, you hurt something. Stop being weenies, people. Come on.
What if you sell a card, do a PayPal transaction, and the buyer is pissed and they turn you into PayPal? They provided misinformation because the card wasn't accurately described. And I did this transaction. They were promoting misinformation. That sounds like totally outrageous. Like no one would ever do that.
Now there's an angle. Again, I could already see the Twitter feed. I just got flagged for misinformation because I put PSA, I put near mint, and it wasn't near mint.
Right. You're promoting misinformation, and you conducted a transaction on PayPal because of that. We're going to sue you or pull money for damages. God, where does that money go? I wonder.
Right. This big pool of money.
Wow. Do they reimburse the person who is damaged? Oh man, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Let's not do that. But regardless, about it now. Just be aware, this crosses over into the hobby very clearly. We're going to get lots of comments on this. I can't wait to see them.
Let us know.
All right. Have a good night, Mike.
You too, Ty.